There seem to be a lot of people that have absolutely no idea how school funding works, but yet they have a lot of ideas and suggestions about how to fix school funding. As someone that has seen school funding from multiple perspectives, I just have to share my opinion, so let's talk about it. Anytime I post about something having to do with school finances, so think, teacher salaries not being high enough, staff getting laid off, school districts not receiving enough state funding. Anytime I talk about something like that, I inevitably get comments saying something along the lines of, well, if there weren't so many principals, maybe this wouldn't be an issue. If the superintendent wasn't making $200,000, maybe teachers could get a raise. And I understand where that sentiment comes from, but that is just so out of touch with the reality of school budgets to think that one or two less principals would solve these school funding issues. You aren't understanding the scale of the funding problem. If we're talking about a school district that has a $150 million school budget and you've got a principal making $150,000, that's 1/10% of the overall operating budget. That is a drop in the bucket compared to how much money you need. Some of these districts are facing $10 or $12 million shortfalls, but the solution isn't to cut a couple admin positions. Our school funding problems in this country are systemic and in some cases intentional. I saw a video this week from Stephen Owens who talks about education policy. I'll tag him down below. And he was saying kind of the same thing, that when we experience these budget shortfalls or school funding issues, we have to stop turning on each other. Trying to fight for scraps for admin versus teachers for support staff isn't conducive. It's not actually going to help any of us, and it's definitely not going to help our students and our schools. We have to band together. It needs to be support staff, teachers, principals, superintendent, district offices, board of education, parents, families, all working together to get more funding. Why are we fighting with one another about what to cut or who doesn't get a raise or what staff to lay off or what programs to stop running when we should be fighting with the state and the federal government to give us more funding? Start taxing the rich and taxing corporations and implementing a specific earmarked education tax that goes to public schools more so than we already do. Let's stop relying on property taxes to pay the bills so that it's actually just homeowners and families who have to foot the bill. I just get really frustrated when people act like solving these school funding issues are as simple as cutting a principal or not giving the super a raise, because it's not. Are some districts top heavy? Yeah, definitely. And maybe you should cut that administrative bloat. But by and large, that is not going to help right size a district. That isn't going to make sure that we have fully funded public education and small class sizes. We have to be fighting the state and the federal government to fully fund education.